Today I am talking about the floral perfumes in my collection. As you can see, I keep all of my perfumes boxed in order to protect the juice from the light. But of course, stay tuned because I'm going to take these out of the box and then discuss them in a little bit of detail. Not too much detail because I don't want this to be a long video. Okay, see you after this introduction. Okay, I have these out of the box and they are ordered in the most convenient order, not in the order of how much I like them. I just kind of pick them up and place them in random order, but it's not a reflection of how I feel about each perfume as far as like least to greatest or greatest to least. But I will have to say, this first perfume, Beautiful Belle by Estee Lauder, is an absolute love for me. If I were to rank this from 1 to 5 based on just how much I love it, I would easily give this a 5. I love how soft and feminine it is while also still having like a strong impact, I guess. Whenever I wear this, I do get compliments and I do get comments because people do notice this perfume. What I love about this perfume, of course, is that it has tuberose. It's a white floral, but it's very different for me as far as what's in my collection because it is a candied floral. Like, of course, I can smell the tuberose, but that marzipan really takes this up a notch for me and just makes it really beautiful. I know that for some people, the marzipan makes it immature, but for me, the marzipan just makes it different and lovely. And again, this is the 1 ounce bottle of Beautiful Belle by Estee Lauder. If you can't tell, I'm getting over a cold. That's why it's been so long since I've recorded a video, because it's just been so much going on. I'm in school, we're getting to the end of the semester, then the Thanksgiving break came, and then I came back from Thanksgiving sick. But I wanted to get a video out to you guys because I just really enjoy recording these videos, and I've missed recording videos. This is Sunflower's Dream Petals by Elizabeth Arden. If I ranked this from 1 to 5, I would honestly give this a 2. I'm tempted to give it a 1. When you can smell it, it's a nice scent. It's a soft scent. It's a very safe scent, but it's just so hard for me to smell it. I spray so many sprays of this on my body and I just still don't smell it. I wore it today and I don't smell a thing. I promise you I only smelled it for about 5 minutes. And then after that, it was gone. But, I mean, it was really inexpensive. That's why I got it. It was on sale at Ross Dress for Less. But I would never pay full price for this. And I probably will not buy it again, even if it is on sale. But the original Sunflowers, on the other hand, I really love this one because it's such a classic smell. And again, this is by Elizabeth Arden. This is the pillar in the Sunflowers line. Dream Petals is one of the flankers, and there are other flankers. What I love about this is that it's just so sunny, it's so bright, and it's a nice, I wouldn't even say it's a safe scent. I just think of it as a classic scent because I've smelled this scent for so much of my life. This scent has been around since the 90s. And I can definitely tell that this came out in the 90s. It just has that classic 90s smell. Another thing that's interesting about this perfume is that when I was reading up on Rihanna's perfume launch and she was being interviewed about it, she said that the very first perfume she owned was Sunflowers by Elizabeth Arden. And once I read that, it made me realize that the Rihanna Rogue perfume kind of has a similar base DNA to this. It's not exactly the same, but I can smell the influence of Sunflowers on Rihanna Rogue. So the other thing that makes me love this perfume is just the impact of this particular perfume. I feel like the Sunflowers line was a huge impact or influence on the Daisy line by Marc Jacobs. That's just my personal opinion. I haven't read that. I just feel like this perfume has made an impact on the perfume world as just being a classic scent, partly because it was always been inexpensive, so many people have owned this. This is Vintage Bloom by Jessica Simpson. When I first blind purchased this perfume, got home and smelled it, I wasn't really sure if I loved it. I had to spray it a lot to kind of feel its impact, but spraying this a lot can kind of make it headache inducing, so that's what made me pull back from this some. With time, I have come to really understand this perfume and appreciate it more. Of course, the bottle is beautiful, the packaging is beautiful, but honestly, what I think I love about this perfume is that in some ways, it's quite similar to the Marc Jacobs Daisy line, but this perfume has more lasting power than the Daisy perfumes have on me. And I love layering this perfume with another perfume in my collection. It is my Belcam impression of Daisy Dream. If you have Daisy Dream already and you have Vintage Bloom already, or if you have a impression of Daisy Dream or a dupe for Daisy Dream, please try layering these together. The combination is beautiful, and I feel like if you love the Daisy line, or if you have Daisy Dream and you just feel like it's missing something, layer it with Vintage Bloom by Jessica Simpson. I have a video talking about this perfume. This is Dolce Garden by Dolce & Gabanna. If I rated this perfume from 1 to 5, if I just based it off of the fragrance alone, this is a 5. But if I had to balance it between the fragrance and the lasting power and the sillage, it would probably be a 3.5. It's really hard to get this perfume to last a long time on me, and I have to spray so much of it just for it to have a decent sillage. But when I spray this on top of a rose scented perfume that I have, and I do quite a few sprays, it does last longer than it would without it. Through that combination, I'm able to get like 3.5 to 4 hours out of it. But after that, it's really hard to still smell this. I can only smell it on my clothes after 4 hours. But I love how summery and fall this smells. This has coconut in it, and that coconut gives it kind of that summer vibe. But it also has amber, which makes it smell really warm. So it also makes it fit in nicely with fall and winter. For some people, I think that combination makes this perfume confusing. But for me, it just makes it multi-dimensional or multifunctional or multi-seasonal. And of course, the bottle is absolutely beautiful, which is kind of inconsequential since I keep my bottles boxed up. But when I take this out of the bottle to wear it, I just love looking at it. I didn't give a rating for Sunflower from 1 to 5. I would probably give Sunflower, I would give it a 3.5. And for Vintage Bloom, I would give it a 3.5 as well. It's hard to get up to 5 for me. But Sunflower gets a 3.5 because even though I love the way it smells, it has been kind of almost copied and done a number of times by other brands. And then it is an eau de toilette. I don't usually go for eau de toilettes because the lasting power isn't as big with eau de toilettes, and Sunflower is no different. It lasts about 4 hours, but I will say during that 4 hours, it goes strong, it goes hard, but after 4 hours, it kind of dies off. And then Vintage Bloom, it loses some points for the same reason that I have to work so hard to make it last, and I have to work so hard. Well, let me backtrack. The way I wear Vintage Bloom, layering it with Daisy Dream or the Daisy Dream impression, it honestly lasts all day. I did 2 sprays of the Vintage Bloom and 2 sprays of the Daisy Dream impression, and when I do it that way, it lasts all day. The sillage is off the chain. But on its own, Vintage Bloom's sillage is decent. It's not beast mode, but it's decent. So on its own, I would give Vintage Bloom a 3.5 as well. So this is Gucci Bloom by Gucci, of course. This is I'm going to just go ahead and give this one a 5. I'm giving it a 5 because honestly, for the longest time, it has been my favorite perfume. I feel like another perfume has taken over as the favorite, but I can't remember which one it is. It was another perfume that I mentioned as being my favorite perfume. But anyway, Gucci Bloom was for the longest time my favorite perfume. When I first smelled it, it was love at first spray. I thought it was the most unique thing I ever smelled. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was perfectly feminine. And I thought it was not only just feminine, but womanly. Like, I was like, this smells like a woman. This smells like a sophisticated, well-off woman. Since then, I have smelled some other perfumes that are similar to it, so it's not as unique, honestly. Gucci Bloom and Beautiful Belle in some ways are quite similar to me. Beautiful Belle smells like Gucci Bloom dipped in candy. So in that sense, Gucci Bloom isn't as unique to me, but they are still different from each other. But I have smelled the Kim Kardashian perfume that everyone says smells a lot like Gucci Bloom, and upon smelling it, I have to agree. They don't smell exactly the same. Honestly, the Kim Kardashian perfume smells a little bit richer, has a little bit more depth, a little bit more sillage, but I didn't get it because I'm just not into the Kim Kardashian brand. And besides, I already have something that smells similar to what it smelled like. But Gucci Bloom is still my baby. It's still my number one in the sense of it's my first love. And I forgot to mention this, but Gucci Bloom is a tuberose white floral perfume. So that's the other reason that I love it, because I love white florals. I love tuberose. The last two perfumes are impression perfumes, starting with this Belcam Impression of J'adore. Trying to wait till it focuses. I don't think it's ever gonna focus. Okay, whatever. This is from the Premier Belcam line. Belcam has a number of lines. I have only encountered the Premier line, but when I go to their website, I've seen some of the other lines. They have two versions of their Impression of J'adore. I have the version from the Premier line. What I love about this scent, the J'adore and the Belcam version of J'adore, is just the complexity, the sophisticatedness, the classicness. This smells like it's perfect for so many environments. It works for the office. It works for an evening out. For me, it works for the daytime in the summertime. It works for the daytime in the wintertime. This is just a multi-seasonal, multi-purpose, multifunctional perfume. It's just such a classic smell. It's a floral, but it's quite fruity, and it's quite full of depth. So that's why I like this DNA. And I've said this before, but I definitely want to own a bottle of the real J'adore by Christian Dior. But this impression is such a good dupe that I'm gonna wait until I run out of this before I purchase the actual bottle, just because when it's time for me to purchase a designer perfume again, or an expensive perfume, I'd rather get something that smells different from what I already own. Last, normally we say last but not least. To be honest, this is least. So this is the Belcam version of Daisy Dream. Smells a lot like Daisy Dream, and the way I feel about this is how I feel about Daisy Dream. This is uninspiring, uneventful for me. The only reason I purchased it is because it was on sale. I was on Walmart.com. I saw that this was on sale for $4. It's normally $8, and I thought, what the hey, I'll go ahead and get it. The first two times I wore this alone, I was like, man, I'm not sure I should have even spent $4 on it, because this smell to me is so boring. This is a fresh floral, almost a watery floral, because if I remember correctly, it has coconut water in it as one of the notes. But this and Sunflower's Dream Petals, both of them is like I sprayed water on my skin as far as the impact and how much it sticks to my skin. But as I said before, I now love this because when I layer it with Vintage Bloom by Jessica Simpson, the combination is so perfect and beautiful. So for that reason alone, I'm going to enjoy this bottle. But once it runs out, I doubt I will repurchase it or ever purchase the Marc Jacobs version of Daisy Dream. If I ever purchase from the Daisy line, it will be Daisy Love. That one smells beautiful to me. But I wish there was an EDP version of it instead of the EDT, because the entire Daisy line just does not last on me. Okay, so that concludes this video. These are all of my floral perfumes. I have some other perfumes back here that have some floral notes to them, but these are the ones that smell floral to me. Some of the other ones I have, the florality or the floralness is not the star of the perfume, so that's why I didn't mention them. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then please stay tuned and let me know if you are interested in a video where I talk about my dark perfumes. I'm trying to discuss my perfumes in sections, so the next one that's on my mind is my dark and heavy perfumes. So if you would like to see that video, then please let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this one, then just hit the like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell to continue to receive more videos from me. Bye!